Have you ever looked at a massive cargo truck and thought, what if that thing had a pickup bed? Most people would not even ask the question, but a handful of builders around the world asked it, and then went and built the answer. What they created are machines so outrageous, so completely over the top, that your brain struggles to process them as real. We are talking about conversions that take full-size commercial trucks, the kind that haul freight across entire countries, and turn them into street-legal pickups that dwarf everything else on the road. These are not mild customs or light modifications. These are full engineering projects driven by obsession, skill, and a total refusal to settle for ordinary. Some cost as much as a luxury apartment. Some were passion projects between fathers and sons. Some are rolling status symbols that stop traffic in multiple countries. Every single one of them will make you look twice. Let's get into it. Number 10. The Ford F-12000. Brazil has a reputation for extreme custom truck builds, and this one explains exactly why. The Ford F-12000 was a heavy-duty workhorse produced in Brazil through the 80s and 90s, built to haul serious cargo across cities and countryside roads. In its original form, it was all business. Now it has been completely reborn as a jaw-dropping, oversized pickup that looks like it rolled off a Hollywood set. The engine remains the original 6.6-liter inline-six diesel, pushing between 150 and 170 horsepower, with over 370 pound-feet of torque. More than enough grunt to haul several tons, or in this case, to push a massively restyled pickup body down the street with absolute authority. It runs a 5-speed manual connected to a rear-wheel drive setup, with reinforced axles and a reworked suspension to handle the larger tires and higher center of gravity. The body transformation is where this build earns its reputation. Fenders widened, bed stretched and reinforced with heavy-gauge steel. Front ends sculpted to mimic the muscular lines of American pickups, only scaled up to something genuinely intimidating. And the tires, massive, wide, built purely for presence. When this truck rolls down the street, the deep diesel growl combined with that towering stance makes sure nobody within a city block misses it. Despite looking like a prop from a Mad Max sequel, it is fully street legal, properly registered and certified in Brazil. The interior surprises with leather seats, a restored dashboard, and a quality sound system. Raw exterior aggression meets genuine cabin refinement. At Brazilian truck shows, it draws crowds of foreign collectors who simply cannot believe what they are looking at. A bold declaration of what builders in Brazil can accomplish with vision, skill, and the right starting point. This is not a truck you forget. It is the kind of machine that changes your expectations of what a conversion can look like. And if you think turning an F-12000 into a pickup was extreme, the next one takes that concept and dials it all the way up. Number 9. The Scania 111S Jakara. In Brazil, the Scania 111S is not just a truck. It is a legend. Known locally as the Jakara, meaning alligator, this truck earned that nickname from its long, sloped hood and predatory stance. It was one of the most iconic European workhorses ever imported to South America, and someone decided it needed a new identity. What they built is one of the most emotionally resonant truck-to-pickup conversions ever attempted anywhere in the world. The original 111S launched in 1976 with a massive 11-liter inline-six diesel producing 296 horsepower and over 810 pound-feet of torque. Engineered to haul freight across continents without complaint. That same engine still beats under the hood today, now powering a truck that has traded its cargo duties for a life in the spotlight. The transmission stays a long-throw manual true to the old-school trucker experience, but the suspension has been replaced with a full air ride setup, allowing the truck to sit slammed to the ground when parked. Something this large and historically significant sitting that low to the asphalt looks absolutely surreal. What makes this conversion special is the decision to preserve the soul of the original truck. The tall cab is still there, the long hood is still there, the round headlights that defined a generation of Scania trucks are still there. Paired now with a custom fabricated metal pickup bed that looks like it came from a futuristic heavy-duty factory. Vintage character meets modern aggression, and the combination is genuinely flawless. At classic truck shows across Brazil, this truck stops conversations mid-sentence. The deep growling exhaust from that 11-liter engine and the sheer physical scale make for an experience that is hard to describe unless you have been standing next to it. The Jakara knows exactly what it was and leans into that history with complete confidence. It does not try to hide its origins or pretend to be something it is not. And that honesty, that pride in where it came from, is a big part of why this build earns the kind of respect that most customs never come close to. The next build shifts focus back to the United States, and the result is equally impossible to ignore. Number 8. The Ford F700. Some customs impress with raw power, others with visual boldness. The Ford F700 conversion hits both targets and does it with a presence that makes even experienced truck people stop and reconsider what they thought they knew about what a pickup can be. The F700 was originally designed as a medium-duty American workhorse, handling tow services, city deliveries, and commercial hauling. Reliable, practical, and completely unglamorous. Then someone gave it a second life. Engine options included a V8 gasoline unit or a 6.6-liter inline-6, diesel producing between 170 and 200 horsepower with 440 pound-feet of torque. That is serious pulling power for a truck of this class, and it translates perfectly into a pickup format where presence is the whole point. The drivetrain is a long-throw manual gearbox connected to rear-wheel drive with reinforced axles and revised suspension tuned specifically for the new body. The front end keeps the classic F-series look, wide grille, squared headlights, and a long, imposing hood. The cab stays mostly original, but the real centerpiece is the custom bed. Oversized, wide, finished in heavy-duty sheet metal with flared fenders that command their own lane. The body sits high. The tires were chosen to match the scale and boldness of everything else on the truck. A wall of steel rolling down the road, and it is fully registered for street use. Most people who encounter it do not realize they are looking at a converted mid-size commercial truck until someone tells them. Then the shock hits. The interior surprises too. Custom seats, an updated dashboard, and genuine comfort behind all that aggression. A truck that proves with the right vision and skill, any work vehicle can become a rolling showpiece. The next build involves one of the most iconic names in American trucking, and the result has become a genuine legend. Number 7. The Peterbilt 379. Here is where things get seriously out of hand in the best possible way. Take one of the most iconic long-haul trucks ever produced in America. Hand it to a father and his son. Give them time, tools, and a complete refusal to do anything halfway. What comes out the other side is a 1992 Peterbilt 379, converted into a fully street-legal pickup the size of a battleship that has become one of the most talked-about extreme builds in American custom truck culture. Under the hood sits a Caterpillar 3406, an inline-6 diesel displacing 14.6 liters, roughly 892 cubic inches, producing 425 horsepower and over 1,475 pound-feet of torque. This engine was built to pull loaded trailers across continents at highway speeds for decades. Now, it moves a one-of-a-kind custom pickup with the same effortless authority. The transmission is a 13-speed manual. Shifting it takes real experience and real physical commitment, which is part of what makes this build so authentic to its Peterbilt origins. The structure is fascinatingly bold. The team grafted the body of a Dodge Ram 3500 onto the Peterbilt chassis, stretching the frame to achieve a perfect fit. The result looks like a Ram on performance-enhancing substances. Look closer, and you start seeing the Peterbilt underneath. The Ram hood blends into the Peterbilt cab with seamless precision. Chrome vertical exhaust stacks rise behind the cab. Rear fenders are widened to match the scale of everything else. The custom metal bed is proportioned to complement the massive frame. At truck meets across the United States, this Peterbilt does not just attract attention, it creates moments. Phones come out, crowds form, seasoned truckers stop and stare. What makes it even more meaningful is the story. Months of shared work between a father and his son. That makes it more than a truck. It makes it a mechanical legacy, a shared accomplishment that will outlast both of them and tell their story long after they are gone. The next build shifts gears entirely, combining vintage American prestige with craftsmanship that earns respect at every show it attends. Number 6. The Mack B-series. When it comes to American trucking royalty, Mack is at the top of the hierarchy. And the Mack B-series, produced between 1953 and 1966, represents one of the most beloved eras in that history. Someone decided the world needed a pickup version, and what they built is a rolling tribute to decades of mechanical heritage, executed with an obsessive attention to detail that separates truly great custom work from everything else. The original Mack B came with inline-six diesel engines, ranging from 7 to 11 liters. The most commonly seen was the END 673, producing between 210 and 250 horsepower, with torque figures that muscled heavy loads across the country through decades of hard use. This build keeps that engine. Inline-six diesel, 5-speed manual, rear-wheel drive, and reinforced axles. The cab has been meticulously restored while staying true to its classic curves and exceptionally long hood. The custom pickup bed was fabricated specifically for this truck, engineered to match the original body lines with a precision that makes you question whether it was always there. Frenched fenders, chrome wheels, tall profile tires, every element works together to honor the Mack heritage, while giving the package a road presence that commands attention at any event it attends. At vintage car meets, truck expos, and custom shows, this Mack pickup steals the spotlight completely. The deep engine rumble, the nostalgic bodywork, and the immaculate finish combined into something that earns genuine respect from people who know what they are looking at. The most impressive detail: most people who encounter this truck for the first time assume it is a factory build. That is how perfectly every element fits together, and that is the ultimate compliment any builder can receive. When strangers cannot tell where the original ended and your work began, you have done something genuinely exceptional. If you are enjoying this deep dive, drop a like right now, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss what we find next. 4 more monsters to go, and they only get bigger from here. Number 5. The Ford F650 Super Truck. If the previous trucks felt extreme, this one enters a completely different category. The Ford F650 Super Truck is a $300,000 statement built on the F650 chassis and transformed through such extensive modification it now occupies a space somewhere between luxury limousine and commercial semi-truck. The engine is a 6.7-liter Power-Stroke turbo diesel, producing 330 horsepower and 750 pound-feet of torque. That power runs through a 6-speed automatic built for long-range highway stability. Despite tipping the scales at over 11,000 pounds, this truck moves through cities and climbs inclines with a composure that feels genuinely shocking given its size. An oversized fuel tank holding over 66 gallons means it can cruise for hours without stopping, which matters when the truck is expected to arrive everywhere with authority. The exterior presence is total. Massive tires, elevated body height, a bold chrome grille, and high-mounted headlights create a road profile visible from blocks away. Inside, pure luxury. Leather seats, panoramic sunroof, a high-end audio system, and interior space that competes with executive sedans. These trucks appear in celebrity garages, high-end business fleets, and at shows where they function less as vehicles and more as attractions. Some owners push the audio system so far the truck doubles as a mobile stage. Modesty is simply not included in the package. But as outrageous as the Super Truck is, the next F650 proves this level of excess still has room to grow. Number 4. The Ford F650 Black Edition. Take the F650 Super Truck, import it from the United States to Poland, put it through a complete legal transformation for European roads, respray it in gloss black, and what you have is one of the most attention-stopping trucks on the continent. This is the Ford F650 Black Edition, brought to Europe by the import specialists at US Classic 24, and it is exactly as absurd as it sounds. The mechanical foundation stays identical to the Super Truck. 6.7-liter Power-Stroke, 330 horsepower, 750 pound-feet of torque, 6-speed automatic, rear-wheel drive. But before hitting European roads, it needed extensive work. Emission systems updated, lighting replaced with European compliant units, suspension recalibrated, full legal certification obtained. Then the finishing touch that named the build, a complete respray from white to deep, intimidating gloss black. The result is something European cities were absolutely not prepared for. Oversized tires, raised ride height, blacked out chrome accents, dual exhaust stacks, and a leather-lined luxury interior throughout. In cities where compact cars and narrow streets dominate, watching a lifted F650 Black Edition roll past is practically a civic event. Drivers pull over, pedestrians stop. People who have never thought about trucks in their lives pull out their phones. That reaction, in a country where this truck is entirely out of context, is the highest possible measure of its visual impact. But even the Black Edition is not the most extreme chapter in the F650 story. The next one has 6 doors. Number 3. The Ford F650 6-door. When you have already built a truck with 6.7 liters of turbocharged diesel power and a price tag in the hundreds of thousands, the logical next step is, apparently, 6 doors. This is the Ford F650 Lariat Dually 6-door, a 2006 pre-emissions model stretched to limousine proportions, fitted with 6 fully functional doors, and equipped with one of the most comprehensive air ride systems ever installed on a pickup format vehicle. The familiar 6.7-liter Power Stroke delivers 330 horsepower and over 750 pound-feet of torque. The transmission upgrade here is an Allison push-button automatic, a commercial-grade gearbox that brings completely effortless shifting to a vehicle now the size of a small recreational vehicle. And then there is the suspension. Not just in the rear, not just under the cab, a full air ride system spanning the front axle, the rear axle, and the cabin itself. This truck actively adjusts its own height on command. When parked, it kneels. A machine of this scale lowering itself to the ground is one of those things that simply needs to be seen. The exterior is exactly as imposing as the specifications suggest. 6 full-size doors, an extended body that stretches well beyond anything resembling a standard pickup, dual rear wheels, custom trim across the entire exterior. Inside, leather seating for a full crew, ambient lighting, premium materials, and enough space to carry people, gear, and a very healthy ego. This truck appears at high-end expos, promotional events, and occasionally red carpets, where it serves as both transportation and spectacle. 6 doors was already an extreme idea. The next 2 builds come from completely different parts of the world and redefine extreme one more time each. Number 2. The Ford Fax. Outside Brazil, almost nobody has heard of this truck. Inside Brazil, it is something close to legend. The Ford Fax is a creation by Tropical Cabins, a Brazilian coach builder that took the chassis of a Ford Cargo 1722 commercial truck and clothed it in a body inspired by the Ford F250. The result is a South American super pickup that combines commercial truck toughness with the visual muscle of a full-size American pickup, done in a way entirely unique to Brazilian custom culture. The engine is a 6.1-liter inline-6 diesel, producing approximately 220 horsepower and over 590 pound-feet of torque. 5 or 6-speed manual transmission, reinforced rear-wheel drive. Underneath the custom body, it is all truck. Above the frame rails, it is pure pickup muscle. The design takes clear inspiration from Ford's full-size American lineup. Wide, commanding front end, bold grille, aggressive headlights, and a huge custom bed proportioned to match the scale of the chassis. It sits lifted, rides wide, and commands attention with an ease that makes you forget it started as a commercial freight vehicle. Unlike some of the show trucks on this list, the Fax is also built to work. Farmers, transport businesses, and collectors who want a truck that functions as hard as it looks have all ordered one. Factory-installed air conditioning, a redesigned dashboard, and comfortable seating give it interior refinement to match its exterior presence. Only a handful of units have ever been built, all custom-ordered, making every one a collector's item by definition. Some have been exported to Paraguay and Bolivia, where they are treated with the reverence usually reserved for rare European sports cars. If the Ford Fax pushed the boundaries of what a conversion can be, the final machine on this list obliterates those boundaries completely. Number 1. The International 7500, 40 million rubles. That is the reported cost of this build. Depending on exchange rates, that translates to somewhere above $400,000. And when you see what that money created, the only reasonable response is silence followed by a very long exhale. This is the International 7500. a heavy-duty platform normally reserved for emergency response, military transport, and extreme industrial operations, transformed into a six-door mega-luxury pickup that looks like it was designed on another planet. From the factory, the International 7500 runs diesel engines displacing up to 12 liters, producing between 330 and 370 horsepower with over 1,200 pound-feet of torque. The transmission is a 5- or 6-speed automatic, and the drivetrain is full 4x4 all-wheel drive, meaning this machine can go anywhere it wants with mechanical confidence to match its extraordinary visual presence. 6 full-size doors. A cab stretched to accommodate them without compromising structural integrity. Custom fabricated bed, proportioned to the massive frame. Lifted suspension, enormous tires. But it is the interior that separates this build from everything else on this list. High-end leather upholstery on every surface. Premium trim materials throughout. High-technology controls for every system. Interior space, genuinely comparable to a private jet, which is not an exaggeration given how much room this truck contains. It was commissioned for a client in Russia and became almost immediately a symbol of power, wealth, and completely unapologetic excess. Parked outside a luxury hotel, it redefines the word presence. Moving through city streets, it redefines the word traffic. This is not a vehicle that exists in the same world as ordinary transportation. It is a rolling monument to what happens when unlimited budget, engineering ambition, and total disregard for conventional thinking all point in the same direction. And there they are, 10 truck-to-pickup conversions that should not exist, but absolutely do. From a Brazilian Ford F-12000 turning a freight hauler into a street-legal showpiece, all the way to a $400,000 Russian International that turned a military platform into a rolling luxury palace. These machines were not built to blend in. They were built to prove what engineering can do when you remove the limits and let obsession drive. Every single one started as a workhorse and became a work of art. Now it is your turn. Which one of these builds would you park in your garage if money was not a factor? Drop your answer in the comments because I genuinely want to know. And if this video gave you a new appreciation for what extreme builders can do, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you catch every video we put out. We find the most outrageous machines on the planet, so you do not have to go looking. See you in the next one.